You know it's true, don't you? Most business plans end up sitting on top of a filing cabinet gathering dust instead of creating real change and improvement in our business. Hi there, my name's Greg Roworth from autopilotbusinessplan.com. Business planning is an exercise that typically ends up in frustration and little change in the business. Most business plans end up sitting on top of the filing cabinet gathering dust after the first reading. Why is it that business planning typically fails? Let's take a step back. In fact, the majority of businesses tend to do no planning at all. This probably leads to the statistic that everyone knows, that 80% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. Despite the fact that any plan is better than no plan at all, businesses that do have business plans typically don't do a lot better than those that don't. Business owners who spend some time planning typically don't really understand the process of planning, and the results are that they merely survive instead of really succeeding as they want. This is because business plans are often written with a number of fundamental flaws. The first flaw is that the plan is often written by the business owner or the managers with minimal involvement from the business employees. It leaves just a very narrow perspective on the business, and it's often the employees who are most aware of what needs to be fixed in the business. A second flaw in the way plans are written is that planning is often done with based on what's gone on in the past instead of looking to what might happen in the future. In this way, potential threats that are happening in terms of changes in the environment are completely disregarded, and often this can lead to the extinction of an industry, let alone the business itself. The third flaw is that planning is often done as a discrete event. The process of analysis and plan writing is merely the start of the planning process. The real work is actually done through the implementation phase. And finally, planning does not lead to action. It's the implementation phase that is all important, but this is often the most neglected aspect of the business planning process. To create effective business plans, it's more important to think about the process of planning, or the planning cycle, rather than the creation of the plan itself. The actual documented plan is really just a snapshot of what the intentions are for the business at one point in time. With changes in the environment and changes in competitive activities, plans need to be adapted, they need to be revised, they need to be rewritten, and they need to be flexible. That's why most plans end up on the filing cabinet gathering dust, because they don't take into account what happens if the environment changes, or what happens if they need to do something a little bit different. So the plan is useless. Don't be like that. Instead, learn to plan properly. Go now to www.autopilotbusinessplan.com and you'll be able to download a free ebook called How to Write a Business Plan That Works. This ebook will give you lots of information about the faults and failures in most planning processes and how to do it properly.